Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we got for Monster Hunter Rise on the Nintendo Switch and next week coming to PC as well via Steam. And in typical nature, Capcom went ahead and dropped another event quest just yesterday, and I basically wanted to break down why I think this is the most engaging event quest we have received in Monster Hunter Rise as of yet. If you still don't necessarily know how to get all the event quests into the game, make your way down to the Steelworks, speak to the Courier Cat, go all the way down to the add-ons option, and claim anything that's labeled in white, be it free DLC, free item packs, or anything along those lines. One of those event quests you should be able to claim is actually called Advance Born of Paradise. This is the event quest that was dropped just yesterday, where you're going to be taking down Allmother Narwa, essentially the last fight in the game, where you're also taking down Wind Serpent Ibushi. Narwa merges together, and of course you get to take them down. The interesting thing is about this, and I guess the most engaging part of it, is that it does have damage parameters. It does have some sort of modifiers. It will hit harder. It has way more health. It's a little bit more agile. It definitely moves a little bit faster, it seems like to me. Perhaps I just haven't done this fight enough. But it just definitely feels like it's one of those fights that is more engaging than you typically would have expected. And the reason for that is because unlike most of the emergency Apex, Super Apex event quests that we have been receiving, where you have already really powerful Apex monsters who can already crush you but do now more damage because of this emergency damage parameters, the difference is with this quest and those is the fact that in those quests you do have the option to go ahead and pick up those spirit birds, make those quests a little bit easier, and most people weren't necessarily doing that. That was one of the biggest criticisms that I had for those event quests, where people were just not necessarily taking advantage of the spirit birds. But because this quest takes place at the Coral Palace and you're pretty much right next to the spirit birds in the beginning, no one's ever not gonna pick up the spirit birds. I guess you could for a challenge, but it's just kind of built in by nature. Like the game suggests, hey, pick up these spirit birds. The max one, you're gonna get all maxed out damage, maxed out stamina, maxed out defense, maxed out health if you need it. You're gonna get all of that, and then those fights are adjusted accordingly with those parameters already in place. You being boosted, you having all the benefits, and the monsters are gonna fight you accordingly. And this fight specifically has boosted parameters for the monsters, so they're going to hit you as hard as well. So it is a really engaging and interesting fight, where for this one being the first fight of the year in 2022, we're already seeing the difficulty bump creep up ever higher now that we're doing these type of event quests. Now, specifically when it comes to the quest itself, you're going to be taking down Wind Serpent Ibushi rather easily. He is not necessarily much of a challenge. He's not supposed to be. The fight will transition to the bottom layer of the arena, I believe, and that's where pretty much she eats him up, and you get to fight her at her full power. Now, in the first half of the fight is not necessarily that much of a difficult thing, I guess. You're going to be avoiding her attacks mostly. You shouldn't necessarily be getting hit by the lightning, although if you do, again, make sure you drink some potions, make sure you're prepared. But in that regard, I never found Allmother Narwa to be all that difficult. Now, this is where I saw people carding. I actually had to do this event quest a couple of times because people in the groups were pretty much carding to just one single and very obvious move. And that is the Allmother Narwa Annihilator. That's when she flies up in the air and all these spikes start to come up from the ground, spinning left and or right in a big circle circumference, and she's basically just standing in the middle doing like really basic attacks, not even like dangerous ones. And it's about those spikes having either two things due to you. One, they're gonna one-hit KO you if they're just catching you in the right spot, or two, they're probably gonna hit you. You're gonna lose about half your health, and then you're gonna get pulled in as she starts sucking people in to do her attack. And if you use your wire bug as the wire fall ability to recover, you jump up in a very random way. This is all RNG because, again, remember, those things are spinning right and left accordingly. You land on a spot, one of those things is just gonna once again truck you over and double hit KO you essentially. But that's kind of on you because you wirefalled into the spot where the spike was gonna be to begin with. So it's all random, but at the same time, whenever you're drinking a potion and you already have health, you're not gonna be able to fill up your health enough for it to like not kill you. So it's kind of built in that way. If you get hit once, you better be ready to kind of get hit again, and you just simply don't have that kind of time. Maybe if you use a max potion, it'll work, but I don't think other people were doing that. I know I got hit by it once, and I just pretty much just died instantly. So it was a one-hit KO for me, but I've seen other people get bounced around as well. So the best way to actually handle it, I've actually seen one person do this, and I pretty much copied what they were doing, is that they were using the Farcaster that you get in the beginning of the quest. You do get a Farcaster like for that very specific quest temporarily, and you can just Farcaster out as she's doing that Annihilator attack. Then you can quickly, refill if you need like a gunner ammo or whatever, or go right back in if you're a Blade Master, and you should be ready to go. You're never going to be putting yourself in danger. Her big attack where, she goes up in the air, she picks up the big rocks, you just get on top of those. Her attack is not going to hit you. Those are pretty obvious. But the Annihilator spikes, I think I saw more than half the people that I ever saw die doing this specific event died to that very specific move. I understand that it's probably not telegraphable, like it's something that you're just going to be able to pick up on right away. But again, if you're running away and trying to heal, you're not going to have enough time. That's just kind of how it boils down. And I think that was the biggest problem that I saw people having to deal with this very specific quest. Eventually, Magnamalo or Teostra or another monster will show up, fight it a little bit, but her attack patterns are pretty predictable. She loves to do her big like paw swipe or like a pounce, but those are like easy avoidable. Again, if you're using your wire block correctly, you should be able to get out of the way. And Blade Masters don't really have to worry about this fight. I don't think Gunners ever have to get in the position of being in a danger area with this specific fight. So I just found that like the fight itself interesting. She does hit extremely hard. You will be losing 80% of your health easily in one of her attacks. But there's a big arena. You're going to be able to like just kind of back out all the way to the corner, unless it's the Annihilator, which again goes all the way in the circumference of the room. So, even if you run to the wall, that thing is going to hit you. So you do have the ability to be able to just kind of disengage, back out a little bit, heal up, and go back in. So that's not necessarily much of a challenge, but I did find this fight to be engaging because, again, it's about all understanding one specific attack, and that attack is deadly. So you need to be prepared to be able to know how to deal with it. The rest of it is entirely up to you, and as long as you just know when kind of to hold back, you'll be able to do it just fine. But again, for the very first quest for this year, I think this is a great one. I believe next week we should be able to get emergency Apex Diablos, if not definitely the following week. So I think we're going to be in for a couple of really good challenges this month. Again, at the end of the month, we're also going to be getting Apex Sinogre, presumably. So that's going to be a good one. And I saw a lot of people asking for the USJ event quest and the whole thing with that. But I don't necessarily know why they're assuming it's going to be in January. I've talked about this before. I think that's going to be for February. We don't necessarily have any guarantee of any of that, but presumably, if the timetable actually goes accordingly, that should be around February when we get to see that, as both the Nintendo Switch and PC DLC paths emerge, and then we should be able to go forward as everyone playing the game, even if they're not playing together, they should be able to have the same DLC playable that very same week. But that's about all the information that I wanted to go over. Again, I think this is a really engaging fight if you kind of understand that one really dangerous situation. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when a video go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.